Welcome back to another episode in Get Corporate Ready. My name is Bohlali Paile and I am your host today. And today we're going to be speaking about how do you go about identifying your strengths, right? Because ultimately, guys, if you are wanting to stand out in your career, you need to start playing to your strengths. You need to firstly start identifying what your strengths are. And then how are you using that for your advantage as you progress throughout your career? But if you're sitting there and you are not sure what they are, let's get into this episode where we get to unpack how to identify your strengths and start using it to your advantage. So one of the key ways that I've always found in terms of identifying what my strength is, right? The first thing is that you really need to start being the kind of person that's reflecting on what feels effortless. What are those things that you are just naturally good at, or those things that you naturally enjoy doing, right? Because strengths aren't just about what am I good at, but it's also about thinking about what energizes me, right? What are the things that I can do into the evening and not see that time has passed? A lot of us don't take time to reflect on these things, but when you do, you start to realize the patterns of what it is that you find easy to do that others may just struggle with, right? So making sure that you start being reflective in your day-to-day journey, in your day-to-day career. What are those things that I do effortlessly and that energize me and bring a sense of joy in the work that I'm doing? The second thing that becomes important in terms of identifying your strengths is that learning to ask for feedback becomes critical, right? Learning to, as people make comments about you or describe you in a particular way to other people that they're introducing you to, listen to those things, right? Because sometimes we tend to be a lot more self-critical when we think about ourselves. And that leads to us overlooking some of our brilliance as well, right? So asking trusted colleagues, mentors, friends, what do you really think I'm good at? Like when you watch me, when you're interacting with me, what are the things that brighten me when I'm doing it, right? That bring me joy when I'm doing it. And start looking for the patterns in the answers that people tell you, because that's how you start identifying what some of your key strengths are. The third way of being able to identify what some of your key strengths are is also just reviewing your past successes, right? So think back to a time where you felt proud, where you attained a particular achievement or you accomplished something at work. What skills were you demonstrating in being able to accomplish that, right? What were you using at that time? What was it about you, your characteristic, a particular technical skill that you had to use in order to accomplish that achievement? Because within that is where some of your strengths live. Within that is how you start identifying the things that help you achieve or help you accomplish the types of work that you are doing. So learning to review past successes is another way in which you are able to identify what your key strengths are. Then on a more technical level, there's also ways in which you can start using systems that are going to help you identify your strengths, right? So you could start using strength-based tools such as Clifton Strengths, DISC, or just simply doing a SWOT analysis on yourself. Those are more technical, analytical ways of being able to pull out what your key strengths are as you do these types of assessments. And that also just gives you a very different lens in terms of what your key strengths are. And it just starts making it feel a lot more tangible as well. So don't be afraid to do some assessments that are going to also just help you solidify your understanding of what your key strengths actually are. And now that you have identified your key strengths, guys, it becomes absolutely critical for you now, as you're thinking about your career goals, to start aligning your strengths to your career goals. You've named your strengths. You know exactly what they are. Now it's time to use them. How am I using it in the decision making on the type of career I'm going into, the type of organization I'm going into, how it is I'm growing in my career? You need to learn to start leveraging your strengths in the projects that you are on, in conversations that you are having, and even in interviews as you start being asked questions, right? That's how you start showing the strengths that you have, but also that's what's going to start enabling you to start standing out with authenticity. So knowing your strengths, guys, becomes a massive, massive game changer. It helps you work smarter, communicate better, and grow faster. Make sure that you subscribe to this channel for more corporate career clarity and personal branding tips.